Hello and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're talking about Midnight Mass. Friends, if you know us, you know we love Mike Flanagan. I don't think there's anything he's done that I haven't been obsessed with.
Yeah, I mean, Oculus is amazing. Like, even way back then.
Yeah.
And obviously Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor and Dr. Sleep and
Hush.
Like, holy crap.
And didn't he do that Ouija Origins of Evil?
Yes, and that's really good and spooky and scary.
So obviously I went in with very high expectations. And I was like, sometimes that's like, well, I had too high of expectations and it disappointed. Friends, this did not disappoint me in any way.
I know. So it's one of those things where I knew I had to watch it immediately, and I knew I needed to watch it all as close together as possible. You know, some shows I'm willing to kind of like spread out over time, but I don't know. I think with Hill House and Bly Manor too, it's like you just need to like be in that world. So I felt lucky that I had a day where I could just like watch it all, you know.
Same, and I did it too. I did it the day it came out. All 7 episodes, and I have no regrets, and I want to rewatch it.
Yes.
And now, friends, we are going to get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go watch it and then come back and listen to this episode. But we're not going to post this episode until closer to the end of October, so we're giving you plenty of time to watch it before this airs.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay, give me Zach Gilford, who played Matt Saracen in Friday Night Lights, regretful, getting out of prison, going to an island with 137 people. This is such a great premise.
The setting is really what makes it's so vital to the entire story.
Oh my God.
And it has, I've seen a lot of people say this, it definitely does have that Stephen King, Salem's Lot feeling. It was like Salem's Lot meets Storm of the Century is kind of how I felt. The way it's set up with this isolated island, and they set up these characters so well. The acting is phenomenal. So I didn't watch Friday Night Lights. Is he like a big role?
He's the lead, yeah.
He's the lead, okay.
I mean, and he's so sweet. And of course, I looked it up. He was like 25 and he was playing a high schooler, but he still looks young.
Yeah,
he's 39. And I'm just like, oh, Matty Saracen. And then, of course, what's his name? Who played Landry. He's in Jesse Plemons. Like, he's done so many phenomenal things. And he was such a sweetheart in that. And now Jesse Plemons has gone on to be like the bad guy in Breaking Bad. Like, I just love seeing the growth of these actors and their journeys.
Yeah, and what a role this was. I liked how it was very understated. He was kind of the quiet guy. Mm-hmm. He wasn't, this type of person who was like having these like rage-filled moments. Yeah. It's a lot more understated. And then so just that every night going to bed and seeing that ghost of the girl.
Oh God, so good.
Yeah, so that was really powerful, and it really sets up. I mean, that's the first thing you see is him. He's drunk. He hits this girl, and already there's a question of God in the very first.
Yeah, he's starting to pray, and the guy's like, "Hey, why don't you actually pray for the people who walk with drunk assholes who walk away with just a scratch?" Or whatever. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good, and it kind of sets up what it's going to be like. But this island, I mean, I just want every horror movie to take place on this island.
It's so good. And like you were saying, they set up the characters so well. Even like the drunk guy, was his name Joe? He and the sheriff, immediately you're like, oh, well, that drunk guy's a bad guy and he's an asshole because he's being kind of racist. But then he's like, well, see you later. And they had like a playful banter, even though it always played with your expectations. It's like you just assume something about someone and then they prove you wrong.
And how about that powerful moment when Lisa comes in and forgives him?
Yes.
And he's bawling.
Oh, my God.
And that gives you a little touch of empathy for him, too, because, he's sort of ruined his own life over and over again, but you see the humanity in him. And then when he's dead later on the floor, and Bev keeps referencing him as, like, an it, and the guy goes, like, but that's Joe Colley. And it was just like this really, I don't know, everything, every sentence is so wrought with emotion and meaning. And even though I know people have been giving the monologues a hard time,
hell no, give me a monologue.
Them. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the actors who were cast in this, and many of them who've been in Mike Flanagan things before, they are capable of these.
Yeah.
I would listen to Hamish Linklater like go on forever, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. No, I
mean,
give me
crap.
a good monologue, especially if they're as well written as these ones.
Well, exactly. They're well written and the actors are more than capable.
I loved the love story. Well, there were several love stories. One of my favorite montages was when the parents were dancing and, you know, everyone's feeling good. People are looking younger. We're seeing the couple build the baby crib for the baby that would never be. What a glorious journey. And also give me a good montage set to music.
Yes. I mean, montages aren't easy.
No.
I mean, but it was such a great one, and it had time pass, and it was very good. And of course, you care about these characters. And I feel like, again, to bring back Stephen King, which I know this is not a Stephen King show, but it definitely has, you know, those sorts of things that we love about Stephen King. And that character that we hate, Bev Keane, like, she is so well done and so complicated. And when the mom of Riley, when she's like, you know, just so you know, you're not a nice person.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
and she's like, and God doesn't love you any more than he loves anybody else. And it's just so powerful, and it gets right to the heart of, like, what's going on in her mind.
Yeah. And also, I loved when she walks in and she sees the dead body and she sees the priest over there with blood.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, we got to get you cleaned up. We got to get you ready. Like, she was just like, nope, we're going to pivot and this is what we're going to do because this is God's will. Like, it was so creepy. That's creepier than a lot of bad guys, you know?
Yeah. It's even really creepier than, like, this creature, this angel, so to speak, swooping in down on Riley. It's creepier than that because it's like a human making a choice and a decision. It's something's broken, you know, in her. Ugh. And so we have, you know, this religiosity, so to speak, and we have obviously the Reverend, the father.
Father, yeah.
We have him sort of believing all of this, and then we come to find out why he's sort of doing all of this, and it's because he is in love and he's screwed up and he wants a second chance to change things. And at the very end, before the sun overtakes him, he takes off his collar and throws it down when he's with his woman and his child.
My God.
And I thought that was like, holy crap. So I guess my question for you is, what do you think Mike Flanagan's saying about it all? About religion and, like...
I think he's saying we have to be careful because there's a slippery slope that sometimes people think that just because someone or something, like a book or a person told them something, that is the only way, or, you know, there's nothing else. And I think that there is interpretation to be had regardless. Mm-hmm. And also, it's like Rahul, you know... Oh, what's his character name? Well, the sheriff. I can't remember his first name now. But he was trying to, you know, go in and say, hey, guess what? We actually all believe in the same God.
Yeah. But no one wanted to hear that, or at least Bev didn't want to hear that. And so sort of at the very end, when Erin is dying and she's talking about, we're kind of cutting to her talking about the universe and stars and, like, that it's all, you know, you can be Catholic, you can be Muslim, you can be whatever, but we're all just under the same, we're all in this together, so to speak.
And also within that whole end part, it's basically like, oh, just because you're a vampire or just because whatever doesn't mean you have to do bad things. We all make a choice. And I was going to say, as humans, even though they weren't technically humans anymore, but I think that's also what Mike Flanagan is saying is, look, just because you're something, labeled something, it doesn't mean that you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
to be a good person. We
Right.
all can be.
Yeah, that's really profound. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, when Riley's parents are like, yeah, we're hungry, but we're not gonna like hurt other people.
Yeah.
And that's a choice we're making.
See?
Wow, yeah.
I was bawling so hard during that last episode. Well, first of all, I was already bawling in episode 5 when, of course, we get the whole Riley journey. And also, like, you don't know, like, when they start AA on the island, you don't know, like, okay, where is this going to go? What's going to happen? Mm-hmm. It's all sort of, like, it could go a bunch of different directions. And it was just so quiet, and it took its time. Mike Flanagan allowed the space to breathe, the moments to breathe. And it wasn't like, hey, like, we got to do this at this pace and keep it up. Like, it's like, we're just sitting here.
Yeah.
Building dread.
Well, exactly. It's such dread building and suspense building. And it's not, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, and I understandably, they need something a little more fast paced, or they need something with a little more, you know, really scary images and moments like that. And we do get that, but I think that the dread building and the atmosphere is what really, oh my God, and the incredible writing and just, you know, that depth of character. Annabeth Gish's character, you know, she is like dealing with her mother, and then her mother's getting better and younger, and she's the kind of scientist on the island. And I thought it was very meta, by the way, that he had a Scully poster in his room, and Annabeth Gish is in it.
Yeah, I love that.
So I thought that was very meta. I like that. But, well, I could go on for days, probably. I think that for me, I'm coming from a certain perspective, like everyone is. Like, I know Catholic people, a lot of Catholic people, you know, had a certain feeling about it, and it brought back some, like, either good or bad memories. And I know you're not Catholic, but you were raised in a religious household, and you're religious, so it's like, I'm sure it brings different, it's like this whole kaleidoscope of different perspectives. And as an atheist, I'm watching it sort of with a complete other different set of eyes as to, you know, what happens after you die and all that. So I don't know, it's very cool. And I could just go on and on and on. But let's talk about the horror. What scared you?
Well, before that, because you were mentioning that, I wanted to mention that the soundtrack is amazing. Because there's so many, of course, religious songs and hymns. But then there's also songs with, like, a twist. And then there's songs that aren't religious, but they mention religious things. If you noticed, everything like was talking about God, or was talking about heaven, or was talking about... And it's so freaking clever. And I'm curious... You know, did Mike Flanagan write that into the script? I mean, I know some of it he did. Or is there, like, a music supervisor who's like, hey, I have the perfect song for this, you know?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Because
it's
brilliant. Comes together. Yes.
Okay, the things that scared me. Freaking things where it was literally the creature, the angel, the vampire. It was literally his face looking in the window, but we didn't know what it was for a long time. And like everyone's like, wait, what was that? And it's like, oh, nothing.
And they mention early on, like, that Joe, when he was drunk, he saw, like, something flying.
Yes.
And the scene where the father Pruitt like dies and has like, he just comes in the room and he's just like having a epileptic sort of looking. That was scary.
And all the cats dead on the beach. There were a lot of animal deaths.
I know. That's what, you know, I would definitely say we don't need so many animal deaths.
Yeah.
That would be my...
But then I was like, why are they doing this? But then I realized it was because whoever was not killing people, they were drinking the blood of animals. But also... Could we have some dead fish, maybe? I don't care about a dead fish. Oh, no, I'm going to get hate for this. I'm sorry. Let's not have any dead animals.
Yeah, no dead animals. How about that? I would rather that whole beach be lined with dead children. I'm just kidding.
We won't get any hate.
Fake dead children.
Well,
it's better than a fake dead cat. There's one shot of Father Pruitt on his porch. Do you know what I'm talking about? When I think Riley is going over to the what do you call it? Where they have the AA meeting.
Yeah.
And Father Pruitt looks so freaking creepy on the porch, and then Riley like goes over and he's like, hello, or whatever. He's like, oh, and it was so surreal, and it was just like this one shot of just creepiness. And then of course there's that complexity of character with Father Pruitt that I loved, because here's this guy who like you think is maybe evil, but he is not, but he ends up being obviously very selfish, and he ruins everybody's lives. So, but the motivation is interesting.
Yeah.
Again, it is selfish, but it's more complicated than what you see on the surface.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, and just how they're like, oh, he's such a saint because he's been bringing her communion every day. But it's literally for selfish reasons.
Yep.
And I mean, it's helping her, quote unquote. But at the same time, at what cost?
Yeah.
Oh my God, when they freaking are drinking the freaking Kool-Aid and the son decides to drink it, that's horror.
That's horror. I mean,
my God, and they shut the doors and they're not letting anyone out. Holy crap.
That is such a climax. I mean, it was so scary, and it felt like Jonestown drinking the Kool-Aid, and this ferocity of believing that God wants you to do this, but not listening to that sort of internal person. And when the sheriff is down pinned to the ground and he can't do anything, and he's just like, oh my God. And Sheriff is obviously one of my favorite characters.
I know, I love him. Oh, okay. I talked to you about this the other day, but I want to mention on the podcast the time and the shots and the length of everything of when they were making their way to the candlelit service on Easter for midnight mass for this massacre. The time they took and the singing, it was so haunting and gorgeous, and the filmmaking.
I know.
You're amazing, Mike Flanagan.
Well, and it's something too where it's like if he had to make this into a 2-hour movie, like he wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. And so this limited sort of series, I love this.
I know.
And it wasn't like 6 episodes, it wasn't 8 episodes, it was 7 episodes.
Yep.
And that's the time it took to tell the story, and I love that. I love that we can linger in some of these things, and that it can be the length that it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, like the movie Host, what is it, 56 minutes?
Yeah,
that's the length of time that took. So let's tell the stories we need to tell in the length that needs to be told.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because imagine, too, if they're like, well, it needs to be, like, 25 episodes. It would just be a lot of silliness,
Yeah.
Where it was, like, all these, like, offset stories that don't matter or something. So it's like, this just got right to the heart of it. We got exactly what we needed. And I, for one, have never heard so many Bible verses in one day in my whole life.
Meg, you were taken to church.
I was taken to church.
Oh, I love it. Listen, we could go on and on, but let's rank this.
Okay.
And a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being you hated it, 10 being you think it's a perfect show. What's the scale for Midnight Mass?
I feel like it's got to be like the not communion wafers, but what do you call it?
Yeah, it's
what they were drinking. Oh, no, but like the blood, the vampire blood.
Yeah, ugh, yeah. It's a cup of. Ugh.
And then, like, when early on, when he's like pouring it into the thing,
I know.
I was like, "Oh, he's a drunk or something."
I know, that's what I thought.
I mean, I'm so naive.
No, I'm like, oh no, he's an alcoholic.
I know. I'm like, he's running AA.
What is he doing?
No.
I know. I thought the same thing, but we're dumbasses.
Yeah. I have to admit, I did figure out it was him when she had that reaction to something on the wall. Yep. I was like, okay. But that's okay because it wasn't the type of, yes, there are twists, but I don't think, even if you know the twists, I think you could still really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable. I was like, okay, there's going to be some sort of time travel or flashback involved because people were aged up.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I could
noticed
tell.
that. Yeah, mm-hmm.
And it wasn't bad. I could just tell because I know that the father, why can't I remember anybody's
Henry
name?
Thomas?
Yeah, Henry Thomas. I know he doesn't look that old in real life.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. So sometimes those things kind of key you to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, is there no way that Henry Thomas is old enough to be a 39-year-old's parent?
Well, that's true too.
Is what I was thinking.
Yeah. But it all worked
that guy
out.
looked young, and
Yeah.
they aged him up. Whatever. Okay, we're ranking
so good.
out of 5.
10.
Oh, out of 10. Duh. How many years have we been doing this?
This is year 4, Meg.
Okay, I'm gonna drink 10 cups.
Yes.
I'm gonna drink 10 cups of vampire blood.
Give it to me.
I've never drinking the blood of Christ, but I will drink the blood of this vampire thing.
Same.
I don't have to put my wrinkle cream on.
There you go. See? We're going to be fine. We can't go into the sun, which we
well,
can't anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. We're pale anyway.
I saw somebody tweet that they texted their parents. They said, "You would like Midnight Mass," and the parent responded, "That's too late for me." I can't stay up that late.
Oh, funny.
Okay, I freaking loved it. I know maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea. If it's not, I don't understand, and that's okay.
You do you.
Yeah.
I could understand where, maybe you just need something a little more fast-paced in your life.
Yeah. Oh my God, when they are going around and destroying, okay, they sent the ferries away, they're destroying the boats,
Yeah.
they're literally cutting the wires
Yep.
and shutting down the island.
Yes,
That
was
scary.
horror. That's horror, yes. That's so scary. Oh, but then there's that satisfying moment when there's no buildings left and
yes.
Bev Keene's like, oh shit.
Ha ha, you dumb bitch.
And then she's like trying to dig.
What a fucking
Yeah.
idiot.
I
Sorry,
know.
I never swear on this podcast, but you get me talking about her. I'm out.
I did see somebody say, like, if Monday was a person.
Oh, that's good.
And it's her. And I feel like that's pretty good. That it might even be mean to Mondays.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, God, when she's stabbing the creature with the knife.
And she clips its wings
Yeah.
after she talks about clipping wings. And then she's got, like, her mom issues.
Yeah.
And her mom's never even there. We don't even ever see her mother.
Yeah.
Yet we get
the
sense
entire
of who she is.
story. We
and
know
how
that character.
Motherhood is important to Erin, and then it's taken away from her.
Oh, God.
You know?
So good. Oh, my God. They're so cute, and they're, like, looking at each other across the aisle in church.
Oh.
And they were going to raise a baby together.
Why did everybody have to die, Kelly?
I know.
I know it made it more profound and everything.
I came out, and my family was all out here, and I was sobbing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, everybody died except 2 people.
Yeah.
And I'm even crying for the vampires. And they're like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, never mind.
Slam. Yeah, and I am glad we had the 2 surviving kids. But still.
God, that was good.
And the last line, she can't feel her legs, so everything went
Oh
back
my God,
to,
yes.
like,
she's going to be, I
yeah.
know. Oh, when she met him outside his bedroom window and she was like twirling and they were running.
I know. Everything gives me chills.
It's so good.
Mike Flanagan, just write everything.
Yeah,
like
please.
literally make a streamer called Flanagflix.
Oh, okay. Done. It's done. It's happening.
All right. Yeah.
We're manifesting this for you, Mike. Mm-hmm. And until next time, we'll see you in the horror section or the Flanaflix.
Oh, bye.